Phone lines are open, 1-888-825-5254. Once again, is the way to join us. And when you're calling in, there's Andrew Babinski in the Kim Komando Show Man Cave.
Hello, Kim.
Hello there, Andrew. What's going on with our callers today?
Cal in Overton.
Okay.
First up. And Cal asked me a question that I have no idea what the answer is. Sometimes people call in and say, I want to ask Kim about this, and I know a little bit what they're talking about, so I can, have a conversation.
Well, and you've been screening calls for how long?
15 years now?
15 years.
And so, yeah, I know a little bit what's going on. I've never heard of ISP poisoning.
What do you think it is, ISP poisoning? I mean, if you had to guess, what is ISP poisoning? I'm
going to guess that someone has taken over your modem, so no matter where you go, they can direct you to where you want them to go. That's just a guess.
Did it happen to Cal?
I don't know, because I didn't get that far because we don't know what it is.
Oh. So what made you think of ISP poisoning, Cal?
Well, I had a problem a while back when I was traveling from motel to motel and using the Wi-Fi. Occasionally, my laptop wouldn't work. And over time, talking to whoever managed that particular server for the motel, somebody told me that it was clearing out something in my computer, and it had something to do with the DNS. And that's what I was searching for. In the meantime, I found ISP poisoning by yes, and it seems like there's another problem where ISPs are hijacking your connection and injecting ads or routing your information to someplace else, injecting ads so they can get a revenue stream from it.
So this way, this way, if you click on a product that maybe they would be making a little commission off, if in case you purchase that product.
Right. So it looks like there's two definitions here.
Well, ISP poisoning, you're right, it has to do with the DNS system, which is the domain name server, okay? So we're all on the same page, is that websites actually have specific numbers. And so if you wanted to go to Komando.com, conceptually, but you can't do it now because we've turned it off, but you used to be able to type in a number like it was 198.233.190.7. Okay. Well, that was the way that the internet worked with a whole bunch of numbers. But the problem is people can't remember numbers. So you have to put a name behind it. So that's where the domain name service comes from, the DNS. And so if instead of you typing all these crazy numbers for every single website you want to go to, you can just type in, for example, Yahoo, Gmail, Komando, Bloomberg, wherever you want to go. And then you just get there instantaneously. Now, the ISP poisoning was something that was, I wouldn't say it was prevalent, but it did happen years ago. I want to say maybe 3 to 5 to 10 years ago when the internet wasn't as sophisticated and security wasn't as big as an issue, is that somebody could put a piece of malware or infect your computer so that, just as you mentioned, Cal, that as you typed and as you went around the internet, is that they would be using their affiliate ID on a product that you purchased. Maybe you would see other ads. Maybe they were making a commission on wherever you might be going. And so that's where the ISP poisoning came into. Not so much a problem anymore, but it doesn't mean that you shouldn't lock down the DNS, because now, in light of the Russian hackers, and I'm not making this up, the US-CERT team just came out a couple of weeks ago and said that the Russian hackers are going after routers big time. And we all have routers in our house because we all have an internet connection. But if you think about this, if a Russian hacker can infiltrate your DNS system, they can reroute traffic going to Russian-enabled servers, and they could actually do something like this poisoning, not on ISP as much as with DNS poisoning. So I'm really glad you called in, because not so much ISP anymore as much as we have to worry about the Russian hackers, because once they do get into your router, they have access to anything that's connected to it, whether it's your smart appliance, it's your light bulbs, it's your phones, it's your tablets, it's your televisions. I mean, you can kind of see how it just keeps going on and on and on. And so that's where you need to lock down your router. And you do things like you update the firmware. And I know a lot of people are like, well, what the heck is that? And I've never done that, which, well, shame on you, that you really should do it like once every 3 to 6 months. It's kind of a pain in the neck. You have to get into your admin page on your router. Some of the newer routers, like the Eero mesh networks, They actually update the router automatically for you. But if you have an older router, this is something that you need to do. But if you really want to lock down your DNS, the domain name server, and you want to protect yourself from these Russian hackers, is that there's a free service out now called Quad9. And I don't know if you heard about this, but Quad9 was put together by IBM and the Global Cyber Alliance and also a company called the Packet Clearinghouse. And it's a way for you to lock down your DNS, and so that this poisoning can't happen, the Russian hackers can't get into it. And I'll post a link to it free for the taking over at komando.com. That's Komando.com.